Welcome to Aging in Style with me, Lori Williams. I'm an optimist by nature, and I believe you can follow your dreams at any age. My grandmother's journey with dementia ignited a passion in me to work with seniors. I've spent the past 13 years learning about seniors and aging. In my mid-50s, I followed my own dream and founded my company, where I use my expertise to help seniors locate housing and resources. On this podcast, we cover all aspects of aging. Join us each week to meet senior living experts and inspirational seniors who are following their dreams. The fact is, we're all aging, so why not do it in style? Hi, welcome to today's show. I'm so glad you're here. We have a great topic. We are talking about holiday gifts for seniors. And I thought this would be, especially with COVID, a good thing to talk about. If you're not able to go home to visit family and want to send them something, this is a great year to be coming up with some new and fun kind of gifts for our senior family members. So our guest today is going to help us with that. Her name is Anne-Marie Barker, and she was just born into the senior living industry, working alongside her mother, who was a director of nursing. She has a true heart for seniors. Anne-Marie works with families, learning what their specific needs are and making a tailor-made game plan for their family. As an answer to the COVID crisis, she created a YouTube channel called The Sandwich Generation as a resource for those that are taking care of kids and parents all at the same time. She gives quick, expert advice and fun ways to cope with busy lives. And I've known Anne-Marie for a while, but I saw her show and she talked a lot about gifts for seniors. And I love what she's doing. And I thought she would be a perfect guest to come on and talk about this. So welcome, Anne-Marie.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with you today.
I'm so excited to have you here, and I love what you're doing. So tell us, how did you get into senior living?
Quite literally was born into the business. My mom was a director of nurses, and she had a bassinet under her desk for me. And I was probably one of those take your daughter to work day things before they had such things. And I was up there a lot and just had a heart for seniors right out of the chute and love them all so much and just can't get enough of them.
So you were born to do this, definitely.
Born to do it. Absolutely.
Love it. So how did you come up with the idea for your YouTube channel?
The YouTube channel started because I sell senior living for a living, and all of a sudden, when COVID hit, people were panicking. Everyone was locked up in their homes, and they were scared to talk to anyone in the senior living industry because, they're going to sell me something. They're going to make me move in and mom's going to get COVID, And so the phone stopped ringing. And for a person who talks to families for a living like myself, all of a sudden, I was just hearing the crickets and I'm going, gosh, it's not like their needs have changed, but all of a sudden people are terrified and they're locked in their homes and they don't really know what to do. And so I wanted a way that I could reach out to those people and talk to them in little tiny snippets. They're only about 5 minutes long, each one of them. So you can sit in the car line at school and watch one. You can watch one when you're up worrying between 3 and 5 in the morning, and it just gives you a little tidbit of, oh, it's okay. Oh, I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one who's sitting in the car line while I'm panicking about my mother I just left at her house, And so it's really given a lot of people that information at their fingertips that they need. And a lot of it is things they don't necessarily want to talk about, even with friends and family, but they need to hear it. And so, it's available to them whenever they're ready to stick that toe in the water and check it out.
Yeah. And I love that you call it the sandwich generation, because if you've never heard the term, and some people may not have, but it's basically you're an adult daughter and you're taking care of your kids. You're taking care of your parents. You're taking care of, working in your house. And it's just an overwhelming place to be. I love, like you said, you have little snippets of the show, or they're like 5 minutes or so. I was laying in bed last night listening to or watching some of them, and you just do such a great job. And I like the format that you have. So easy to bring into a busy life.
Yeah, we're all crazy right now.
Yes, we are. So, and we're about to get crazier because the holidays are upon us. So let's talk about some of your ideas for gifts. So, and how did that start? How did you decide this would be a good idea?
Well, I'm in senior living. I like to say I live here because I'm here every waking hour. And I notice things, and especially right now, a lot of times I talk to families who already have loved ones here and they're like, gosh, I just need to get in their room. I just need to see what they need. I need to see. And they can't get in most cases right now. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what they need. And I'm at home shopping for my senior loved ones. Why would I not impart that knowledge on other people? And, a lot of times seniors are just so hard to buy for because they're in a small space. You don't want to add to the clutter, but there are so many great gifts that you can give them, even if it's not the holidays, their birthday, or just because you're thinking of them. And those things are really important right now in COVID too. And so I wanted to make sure to do a whole bunch of episodes with a whole bunch of little things you could think about so that even if it's March next year and you're just thinking, I really want to send Aunt Mary something, those will be there at your fingertips later.
That's great. And I know you have them broken down like gifts for men, gifts for women, electronic gifts, people with dementia. I also was listening to one last night where you talked about like the boxes, which I love those, where you subscribe to a box or whatever and have that sent to you. I'm in a couple of those clubs myself, and that is so much fun to get a gift in the mail.
It is, and to send them something with regularity. And that also falls under the heading of something that is going to be really significant to them, but it took you 5 seconds while you were sitting in the car line at school, Exactly. So it has a huge impact, those gift boxes, but it didn't take you but a minute to look it up and send it. And now it's on an auto draft. You're not thinking about it. And, most of us that are in the sandwich generation, we're used to that. We're used to having a subscription to something. I mean, I defy you to find someone our age that doesn't have one.
I have two.
I mean, everyone. Yeah, everyone has a subscription to something at this point because that's just the way commerce is working right now. And so why not extrapolate that out into senior living and give them something that, they're going to be surprised every time it comes and they're going to think of you every time it comes. It's a hard time right now to make those personal connections. And so anywhere you can, you want to take that opportunity.
Yeah, and that would really brighten their day as well. Yeah. So are there subscription boxes that are specifically for seniors?
Yes, there are. And the one that I'm just especially fond of at the moment is called Grand Box.
Oh, how cute.
Like grandparents, grandbox.com.
Okay.
And all they do, I swear, is just craft these boxes for seniors.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And they have so many great ideas. So you don't even have to think about it. It's just already curated there and you just hit the button and boom, it's gone. But it leaves that significant impact on your loved one.
What kind of things are included in the boxes?
Oh gosh, at Grand Box, I mean, they have everything, just like if you were to send, on the other side of the sandwich generation, you have the grandkids, right? And so you can send your grandkids an adventure box that comes once a month and it has, a little map and it talks about this country and, little activities for them to do. And it works the same way on the senior end. They're sending them maybe things they need, like warm socks or whatever, or maybe you're sending them a hot chocolate box every month, something they can use in their own apartment. They don't have to share it. It's all theirs. They didn't have to go out and buy it, those kind of things. But then they also have like cheese of the month. We have a lot of people in senior living that are still foodies. And the number one complaint in any senior living anywhere is the food, even when it's awesome. That is the complaint.
It is.
And so to give them something, quote unquote, from the outside where they're getting something special, those things really make an impact on someone's life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know why I never even thought about that, but it's the perfect gift to send a special box, subscribe like that. I think
Right.
it does so many things for them. I mean, it's going to brighten their day, especially with COVID, if they're home or if they're living in a senior community. It's just so wonderful to be thought of and to receive a gift from someone.
Yeah, because, co-isolation is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And people, even us in the sandwich generation, in our own homes, we're feeling isolated and we're whining because we can't go to bars and we can't go to, all the fun places we normally go to. Right. Well, they're feeling more trapped, because they're here, nothing has really changed, I have to say, on the quote unquote inside of senior living. They're still getting to do everything they did before, but it's just kind of the thought, the thought that COVID's out there and now my daughter can't come in and visit. COVID's out there and now I can't run out to have lunch with her every 2 days, and it's not really that anything's changed on the inside here other than protocols, of course, but it's just that feeling that you can't. It's like when your car breaks and all of a sudden you can think of 3,000 places that you needed to drive to that day. If your car wasn't broken, you'd be sitting at home on your couch watching a movie anyhow. And so, for them to have that mental thought and, oh, we can't see them. And, they need those personal touches right now because you don't want them to decline because of something ridiculous as COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So what are some other gifts that you think are really popular or needed by people? Say for women, what would be some top gifts?
What I've been really preaching on lately, and I do feel like I'm on my soapbox a little bit with it, but something that has always been in my heart from the moment I was in senior living was give them their dignity back. Whenever you're in senior living, you have to use a lot of equipment and say support hose and, all those things that we know are ugly. They're very institutional looking and it always feels like you're in a hospital because you're wearing these ugly things. And so I say, and I have several videos about this already and I'll continue to do so, but especially the compression hose, the compression socks have been made wildly popular because of the nurses and the caregivers that are having to walk around all the time. They're having to wear them. And so now all of a sudden you can get them in every color. You can get them with, patterns all over them, your dog's picture, whatever.
Oh,
yeah. And so
now they're fun.
Yeah. And I have really been leaning this year on thinking of things that are within their four walls of their apartment that are really awful looking, discouraging, and finding a way to make that fun. Send them the really cool stuff. It's out there and we all know how to shop online at this point.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And so it's not like you're having to trek around to 50 weird specialty stores. It's all right there in your hand on your phone. And you can find a way to do that. And another thing I'm really particular about is their clothing. A lot of times, most of the time in senior living, they may have 3 outfits and none of them are nice. They're always, very raggedy and worn out and whatever. And a lot of times us in the sandwich generation, we think, well, gosh, we don't want to take their nice things up there. What if they spill something on it? What if something happens to it? We don't want to bring up her pretty things because fill in the blank reason. Why would you do that? These people, this is their home. This is where they're living now. They're not in a nursing home. They're not in a hospital.
And if they have pretty things, let them wear them. Yeah.
Yes. Why would you not do that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I really have been, I have really been leaning on that this year to give them their dignity back. Give them things that they love.
So compression hose is a good one with the different patterns so they don't look like they're, institutional. maybe a nice outfit for them or nice pajamas. We used to always get my grandmother just her favorite. She loved pink. So we always got her pink pajamas. So anything else you can think of?
Things a lot. They wear out. Oh, yes. I'm also a big fan right now of personalized everything.
Oh, and you can get anything personalized.
Anything. You can get anything personalized. And when you do move into senior living, the first thing you do is label all their things. You label all their clothing. You label all their stuff. And they actually make labels now. I mean, now my grandmother used them when she would make quilts for us back in the 80s. But, you can get labels custom done with their name on them, and you just iron them in their clothes. You can, yeah. Why would you not do that? Why would you get a big, ugly marker and make sure that they feel very institutional because you're scribbling all over their clothing when you could do something like that and make them feel loved and not so institutionalized? That's not what senior living's about. Senior living is about living. It's about being more independent. That's the point of senior living, is to keep your independence. If you're at home and you can't take care of yourself, you're not independent, no matter what you think. You're depending on all these people to do these things. Well, when you're in senior living, especially like in assisted living, they want to come in and provide you the assistance that you need and then step back and let you live your life as much as you can by yourself. That's the point.
Absolutely.
So think about that. Think about getting grandpa one of those little grabbers that he can reach up on the shelf, and pull down his own coffee mug. Help enable them in a way to make them better and stronger.
I talk about that grabber a lot on the show because I actually have one because I'm short. And exactly. That's the best thing ever. I use that thing all the time, but it's also good. Yeah, if they drop something on the floor, and we did a fall prevention show a couple of weeks ago, and it's wonderful for like if you drop something so that you don't bend over and possibly fall, you just use the grabber to pick it up.
Right, and everyone's scared of falling in senior living.
Of course.
That's one of the number one reasons people move to senior living is mama's falling, quote unquote, And so it's important to, again, give them that independence. And that's a great way to do it.
Absolutely. What about some other gifts for men? What do you think they like?
Oh my gosh. I just delivered a box to this gentleman that lives here with us. And I don't know why I didn't notice this before in his apartment, but you know how we bring in their furniture from their house, and ladies especially, they've got the dresser with the little doilies and the grandkid pictures and all that kind of thing. Well, this man's room was as manned up as I have ever seen in an apartment. And I thought it was so cool that I bookmarked it in my brain to talk to you about. So where a lady would have the frilly things, they have bought this guy those rolling toolboxes, those red metal, and they have wood tops. He has those things instead. Like his nightstands are the red metal Craftsman boxes. He's got one with his TV on it. He's got one for his dresser. He has one full of tools, So
what
cool.
a great idea. That's awesome.
I know. Men are so tough to buy for. So you definitely want to give them something that screams, hey, I'm a guy. You want to give them. And again, with the subscriptions or things, there are subscription boxes out there for things like crafts that come once a month. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a guy that likes to tinker or woodwork or whatever, and you could send him something to make, something to do with his hands? Or, we also have a lot of men that love reading. Is it Louis L'Amour?
Louis L'Amour. Yep. Always hear about that.
Oh, yes. If they're into the Westerns and that kind of thing, make sure that's what you do. And technology wise, I did one of my episodes was about the Roku, little bitty remote. So there are actually channels that you can get for the Roku, and it's all free. You just put on the Roku, whatever you want. And it's all Westerns. It's all old movies. It's all World War II stuff. It's all pilot stuff. And so how cool that you could make things specific to what they want to watch.
And that would make it easier for them. Yeah, easier for them too. So you get the Roku, you program it with whatever they love. If they love Westerns or war movies or whatever, and then that's all that they can access, because it just makes it easier.
So much easier. And the Roku is so dead simple. You can even get them with a little toggle on the side to turn up and down the volume. You can get one that turns on and off the TV. And then the rest is just a very few buttons. And so you're not having to worry about them having to figure out multiple remotes. Oh, here's the cable remote. Here's the TV remote. Here's this, here's that. I can't find this cable channel. It moved. I always say, set them up for success.
Exactly.
If you can set them up for success at the beginning, they will be so much happier. And then by proxy, so will you. Because let's face it, we're busy in the sandwich generation. We don't want 9,000 calls a day saying, hey, you forgot to pick up my laundry at the cleaners. Hey, you need to get my glasses fixed. Hey, I can't make my TV work. I hit that call button and they didn't fix my TV. You're always getting calls.
That is so funny, because I hear that from people all the time that, mom or dad are calling me all the time about, I can't get the remote to work. I can't get it on my channel. So that is, that does happen.
A daily occurrence in assisted living.
Of course. Yeah. So what a great idea. I like that about the Roku. I kind of would like one for myself and have my Hallmark Christmas movies on it.
Exactly.
Make it easy.
Exactly. Yeah. Set them up for success and you will have less phone calls. That should be your takeaway for today.
Definitely. What about residents who have dementia or family members with dementia? What would be some good gifts for them?
My very favorite right now is still the robotic pets. Gosh, there are endless things you can do with dementia. I also like the photo books, photo posters on their wall, things that, because dementia, gosh, that's such a wide range of things, right? You can have someone who's just kind of forgetful, and then you can also have someone who's mostly bedbound, can't even speak anymore. That's such a huge range to say dementia. But I'm in love with the robotic pets right now. I've seen them in play. I've seen them in use, and they are just the coolest of the cool. There's a link on the video I did about that where you can find them, and they're like $100, and they're battery operated. And these people, especially with dementia, they think they're the real deal, and it brings them, just lights their face up with joy. It brings them so much joy. And to be able to still love on a pet, and the pet responds to them. That's the cool part. It blinks its eyes. The cat, it meows and it purrs when they pet it, and it'll turn over and let them scratch their tummy. And it's amazing, these things. Wow. But for someone with dementia, who maybe can't quite grasp, and maybe they had a pet at home, but they had to give it up because they couldn't take care of it anymore, and to give them that back is just amazing.
That is amazing. And I know on one of your shows that I was watching, you talked about, pictures on, the posters that you put up, and that someone who's a little further advanced with dementia, it's a great way to start a conversation with their caregiver comes in, and this is your daughter, or this, something to talk about with them. And I think that's such a great idea.
It is, because granted, they might look at that and not even, I hear people all the time say, well, mama can't even do that. She can't even see that on the wall. Well, that might be true, but the caregivers, the people that come in their apartment, now they have a conversation starter for them. They can say, oh, look, your granddaughter's wearing a pink dress in this picture, just like you're wearing today. That is so pretty, your pink blouse. And now you've connected with them.
Yeah.
Connecting with people with dementia for me is super easy because I've been doing it since I was a child. But for most people, it's incredibly difficult, and especially if it's your loved one. I always say, if it's my loved one, it's a whole other story. If that's my mother, I'm going to be crawled up in the ball crying on the floor. But it's not, it's just different. And those caregivers are used to dealing with people with dementia. It doesn't upset them like it does the families, but they still need that enrichment in their life. Nobody wants to just sit in a corner because they have dementia.
No, I think also, and I remember when I worked in a community, I just love seeing who they were or what they did, because they still are that person. But say dad was a World War II pilot or something. I mean, here's this amazing guy, this hero, and to see pictures when he was young and just be like, that is so cool, and then you get to know who they are, who they were, what they did. And, they're somebody, and you want, as a child, I would want someone to know, this is who my dad, he's not just this guy who can't talk to you anymore. He is this amazing man who had this incredible career, So I think that's important to do that.
If that was my parent, that's exactly what I would want. I would want you to know. I would want you to know them. And also, on the flip side, talking about, dealing with the people with dementia themselves, it's so much easier for them to remember things that happened way, way back. Yeah. It's so much easier for them to connect and talk about those things as opposed to something that just happened that they don't even remember. And so if you do have someone who is lying there in a bed and they were a World War II pilot, like you said, you could probably get a reaction out of them talking about those things more so than if you said, hey, do you know what day it is today? Today is Thursday. Let's make sure you're oriented. It's 11:30 in the morning. What's the point of that?
That's setting them up for failure. Like you said, Let's set them up for success.
Exactly. Yeah. We want them to live their biggest, best life no matter what's going on with them.
Absolutely. Are there any other gifts that you can think that are just kind of like standout gifts?
Oh gosh, there's so many. My brain just went, they all just came to my head. I'm really fond of puzzles. And again, the personal touches, the puzzles with the personal pictures on them where you can have them made. Yeah, and just think about that. Think about bringing back their dignity, setting them up for success, and then also make it personal. If you know your loved one, which you do better than anyone, you know that they love cats and they hate dogs. Well, let's get them things with cats on it. If a stranger walks in and brings them something with a dog, that won't resonate. But them, what they used to like. And even if they're griping and saying, I can't do that anymore, you can bring something around that'll pique their interest. And so I think that's really where you need to go with gifts, is dig in your brain, think about what you used to do with them, what, something maybe you guys did together, and bring that up front. Yeah.
Yeah. Great ideas. I love it. So I always like to ask people this question. We all working in senior living, we have many seniors that have inspired us, but is there one senior that just stands out in your mind that's just has been a great inspiration to you?
Yes. And when you first asked me this question, yes, my brain just flooded with every senior I've ever met. But the one that I go back to all the time whenever I think about helping someone in senior living is my Aunt Lou. She wound up being matriarch of the family just because she outlived everyone. And she was such a blast. She was so much fun. But there was a while there where she had some physical issues and had to go to rehab. And she was there forever. It was like a year.
Wow.
And, and we didn't know when we brought her in. I remember them saying, so how long do you think she'll stay in rehab? And I remember her son and me looking at each other and going, we don't even know she's going to live till next week. I mean, we don't know, you know, and we went through that entire journey with her. We rehabbed her out. She went back to her own apartment and lived successfully for quite a while. And, you know, she's really the one that you look to and say, what did I do for her that made her feel special? What did she lack when she was in senior living? What did she not enjoy about it? And I always think back to that time and I think, what would Aunt Lou think about this? What would Aunt Lou think about this lady in her apartment? What would I do if that was Aunt Lou? You know, and so she's the one, she's my touch point that I kind of keep myself grounded and figure out exactly what needs to be done.
I love that. So I'm so thankful for you for being on today and sharing all this information. I think it's a great help for people when they're thinking about not just holiday gifts, but gifts in general, and just also, you know, making sure mom and dad are successful wherever they are in senior living, if they're at home or if they're assisted living, whatever it is, so important. And we'll put a link to your YouTube show because I want people to go and watch your shows because you have some great information on there. So thank you so much for everyone for listening today. For more information, for resources, we have a lot of free resources, and for all the podcast episodes, you can go to my website, which is loriwilliams-seniorservices.com. We also have a newsletter, so be sure to subscribe to it. And thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.